I often get asked, where do I get ideas to write poems? Well, basically, it just starts with nothing. And then the idea just comes, and this poem that I wrote today is just one example. It started with the first line, and the poem is entitled, I Am Not the One. I am not the one full of stress. I am not the one with debts or in a mess. For within, no feeling of need, no whisper in my ear with temptations of greed. All the this and that, most of it, just material crap. I have no admissions of possession of limited editions. Costly temptations and hoarding creates more headache of display and storing. I am not the one that alarm bells sound, disturbs from dreams profound. I am not the one up at all times of day and night. I am not the one saying, different day, same old shite. For the life I choose to live is rewarded in what I can give. For that, there is but one place to start, and that is always from the heart. Let me say this, that I have found to be true, for I found a way from heart, a life renewed. The path is far from shallow, mostly singular and very narrow. That path begins when inward you go, and it reveals the real beauty of energy flow. I am not the one, except perhaps to show what deep inside you already know. To live life in love as authentic self reveals the deepest truth of real wealth. All that I really have lost is material desires, and gained a wondrous life to truly inspire. I am the one only in that which I sought. 'Twas found in the heart where there is real thought. I am the one, that which I become, when the self I fully face, accept, forgive, let go, and fully embrace. That was just written straight out from that very first line, and it just built and just flowed. Now, interestingly, and this I think is a perfect example of what is called synchronicities. The very last word of that poem was the word embrace. So I'm going to give a shout out now to Cheryl's Daily Card for Positivity on Facebook. I'll just say that again. It's called Cheryl's Daily Card for Positivity. Now, in today's card, the 9th word was that same word, embrace. Now, yesterday, if that isn't a synchronized thought, how about this one? I got a song by Hawkwind called Fahrenheit 451 come into my mind. So I thought, I'll have a listen to that again. So I've happened to see notifications, so I thought before I play the song, I'll just have a look. And it was on one of John Levi's recent videos called South of Tartaria. I left a comment, and I got a comment back from a David Hunt, and would you believe, he mentions at the very end of the comment the story called Fahrenheit 451. You just can't make any of this up. It's just wonderful, just the way things are just presented. There is a macro and a micro. Anyway, I'm going to get now to the real purpose of this video, and the reason why what you're seeing on the screen, it it might seem quite bizarre, and why is it shaking? And well, it's not. It's the closest representation I can give you of something. Let me take you back to where it all began, before the flood. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about while still in the womb. Now, which lifetime, I have no idea. But this is as close as I can give you to a visual sensation of that. If you actually see what I'm using here, it's a t-shirt on a paper bag. But anyway, spoil the illusion. But just look at what you're seeing here. There is nothing solid. There is nothing with outline. What you see, what you hear, are just faint impressions. It's basically what Rudolf Steiner talks about the Saturn impulse that gave warmth, the sun impulse that gave light, and then the liquid impulse of the moon. That's all is a tomb, all is a womb. There is a feeling of the whole world is closing in around you. Now, if you were to ask the question, where am I? Or where is this? Generally the response you'll get from people will be with a frame of reference. Oh, you're in whichever country, you're in this town, you're in this place, or you're in this road, and so on. Because there is a point of reference. But what about when you're in the womb? Keep in mind that you can see in the womb, you can hear in the womb, but it's more subtle impressions. There is nothing solid, there is no physicality as such that you are even aware of in the womb. It is a secure, safe, lovely place to be, but of course nothing is eternal in the physical, and it soon becomes apparent that it isn't the world that is closing in around you at all. It is that you are growing, your physical being is growing too big to be contained within that womb. And let there be light, and you wonder why babies cry and why they scream. It would be no different than a musician having a piece of music in his head and unable to write it down on a musical stave and express it. It's frustration. And initially you have those memories, but you're now bewildered by this strange thing called sunlight, daylight, nightlight, solid objects with defined outlines. Sounds are very different, sight is very different. But also in that, something else came out of it, and that was a very brief glimpse of what comes before. Now, I'm sure you're all aware of this whole transhumanism merging with AI. Let me put it to you in another way. A young child sees a space rocket or a spacecraft land and witnesses this coming down. So that child will recreate that as maybe a cardboard tube from a toilet roll and recreate the basic shape of what they have just seen. And then they use their imagination. But does that return that rocket from whence it came? So this whole fusion of human and AI is an attempt to go back from where we came from before coming into this realm. You are, the best way I can describe this, you are like it placed into a star. Part of your consciousness is placed into a star and placed in to a physical being at the moment of conception. So this is basically an attempt to mimic and reverse the process of that. Of course, it won't work. It's just a poor attempt from a physical realm trying to go into a undefined non-physical realm that has no point of reference like this material solid realm. So it's basically like a crystal, and it's a pinkish. This is the closest I can show it to you. So why are you here? Well, just look at what the external world presents to you. When you have explorers go missing, or people going on a trek up a mountain, maybe with expert guides, maybe not, and they get lost, you send out a search party, do you not, to try and find them, to try and bring them back safely. Coming into this realm, some have come into this realm ahead and have got stuck in this reality. So that's why some others have come in here to try and rescue them and try and find them, and in turn have also become stuck. Because the moment you step through that light, you go through that tunnel, you come out the other side of the flood when the waters break, and you come out of that womb into this shocking reality that is so different from the sort of a reality that looks like what you're seeing on the screen right now. It's such a shock. And then the whole process starts of being bombarded and being moulded to fit into this reality, when deep down you know inside that it's not like that. But you have these points of reference in this solid reality to which to compare things with. It is really to see the contrasts in things, but of course it's taken to ridiculous levels of one-upmanship and power over another and such like, and you can see the outcome of that. Maybe you don't believe any of this. Well, I'm going to use a Rudolf Steiner analogy. I'm going to put it in a slightly updated version. Imagine you're asleep, and whatever you're dreaming, you swing your arm out and you knock your mobile phone off the bedside table on the floor, and there's a crash. Now, in that dream, that crash sound is incorporated in the dream, and you have a backstory that seems to go back in that dream. What does that tell you about history? What does that tell you about reality? Because you tell me which feels less real or more real to you, what's happening in that dream or happening in this waking consciousness? Or does it feel about the same? Can you distinguish one from the other? What is your point of reference with that? What does it also tell you about time and which way it can run or not run? And maybe you can see how it's talked about this reality being inverted and being backwards. Well, coming out of the dream maybe is another version of that, another way of showing that. Consider also when you go inward, like I've written in the poem, you go inward and find your true authentic self. Then you're reborn back into this light again, this physical reality, and your perception just changes. So it's like take two, because the world is a stage, so the first part is just a rehearsal, because you sort of go into a hearse, you die to yourself. Of course, there's no funeral expenses. And you come out renewed, but within the same physical appearance. But inside, I think you'll find will be very different. You come out the other side of the tunnel. So it also begs the question about when people are talking about near-death experiences and going into the light, or not going in the light, but if they come back to tell the tale, have they not come into the physical light? A few things to ponder there, I think, and yeah, we'll leave it there, and just wish you all a beautiful, beautiful day, and take time out for yourself. It's not being selfish Sit and contemplate, split your time, balance yourself between doing and being, reflecting on what things have happened, reflecting on things, going to the end of what you desire, that you already have it, and see how this reality actually changes. Because whatever you look for, whatever you seek, this realm will present it to you. Just like your subconscious will give you, if you were to say something like, I want a new sports car. All the subconscious will hear is the want part of that I want. And it doesn't know about solid reality, don't forget. It's not in a solid realm. It has no point of reference. It doesn't know what a sports car is. So all it will know is I and want. So what do you think you're going to be presented with more of? Oh, it will keep giving. So maybe you should reformulate, reorganize your thoughts. And I would suggest, like everything is an expression in this realm of getting to the heart of the matter. Well, what is material in this realm? And where is the heart of that? And what is at the center of that heart? Ask yourself those questions and see what answers you get. I'll leave that there. Love to you all, and ta-ta for now.